So, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you all? I hope you all are doing great. In today's video, I am going to use Bollinger Bands, but at the same time, I will first place support resistance here properly. Only after that, I will use indicators. So first of all, I am trying to cover the long wings that are seen here by taking the horizon line so that I can put a good resistance label here so that I have created a seller's zone here that is, I will call it resistance. After that, I will take one Bollinger Band here, and after that I will take RSI here. So I have placed both the indicators here, and now I have to see here that where I can place the trade at the right place. Taking all these things into consideration, I am placing a trade here in the downward direction. Okay, I have placed a $100 trade here for a downward move. Why? Because the market is moving around the lower level of the Bollinger Band here, so there are higher chances of a breakout. That's why I have moved in the downward direction. Here, on the lower side, the RSI indicator that I have applied is trying to come down after testing the upper level. Right now, it's in the middle. It hasn't tested the lower level at all. So, there is a strong possibility that the market will try to test its lower level, and only after that will it move upward from there, because the middle line of the RSI is the projection line. The market movement shows whether it is going up or down in this way, meaning it indicates the direction because it's an indicator, so it can only indicate. The rest we have to see for ourselves, especially after applying support and resistance, because the real clarity comes from support and resistance. So here the market movement is clearly downward and this red candle has formed. Finally, my trade has also ended in profit. And let me tell you something important. If you haven't joined the Telegram group yet, there's a link in the description. Make sure to join the Telegram group from there, where you can get a lot of benefits. So again, I will try to find a good movement chart. Here, I feel that finding a chart with good movement is very important. Whether you are applying support and resistance or using any indicator, your first priority should be to find a chart with good movement. So right now, I will change the chart and look for one with good movement, where the Bollinger Bands and RSI movements are being fully fulfilled. Because sometimes the market movement goes far outside the Bollinger Bands, and in such cases, we don't get the right indication. So the market should be within those bands, inside the Bollinger Bands. That's the kind of chart I'm trying to find. In this way, the market should become stable again. So for now, I have found such a chart, and here I have placed a trade for a 1 hour direction. First, with $100, I will imagine support and resistance here using a horizontal line. There is a very good support level on the lower side, and the market has already tested that level. I have already placed trades on the next candle after the previous candle for a green candle. Okay, and the lower level of the Bollinger Band is also trying to turn bullish from there, as you can see previously as well. And from here too, the market will remain bullish. After that, the RSI indicator here has already tested the lower level on the downside. Now the market movement is in an uptrend. So the projection level, the middle layer, the middle level, the market movement will also be towards the upside. So here we get the indication that the market can go in our direction, which is why I have placed a trade for an upward move here. Otherwise, I will have to wait a little here until this candle closes and until this trade becomes profitable. So finally, my trade here has given me a pretty good profit and a strong green candle has formed here. Here, the market movement is bullish and is likely to remain so. And let me tell you something important. I am not a financial advisor. Before placing any trade, make sure to do your own research because trading is very risky. You might get it perfectly right, but losses can also happen very easily. So, keeping both these things in mind, enter trading accordingly. Also, before placing any trade, definitely do your own research. Manage your money according to your capital. It's best to use only 1 or 2% of your account balance because over trading can become very difficult. You can incur such heavy losses that you might not even be able to recover them. So you need to enter trading with extreme caution. For now, I am trying to change the chart here. I will look for a chart with good movement because I need to draw support and resistance levels there, and both indicators are already applied here. So I have found a chart that looks like this. Here, I can place a trade for a downward movement. I have placed 2 trades here in the downward trajectory of the price because I feel there is quite a significant and intense selling pressure here. If we look at the previous situation, the market has already broken the lower level of the Bollinger Band, and when a breakout happens, the overall momentum of the market tends to follow the trend. The market moves in the direction of the trend. However, if we look at the RSI indicator, it appears that absolutely nothing is functioning according to it here. That's why I'm trying to use a horizontal line here to mark the specific support and resistance levels. There is a very strong resistance level on the upside, and the market has been consistently bearish from that point. But the current market movement makes me feel that my trade might actually end up in a loss here. I think there are significant chances of a loss, and losses happen very easily in this environment, so it's not a big deal at all. Otherwise, I felt really good that both of my trades here were profitable, so a single loss isn't such a big thing. Losses happen quite easily here. I honestly thought I was going to have a loss, but my trade turned out to be profitable in the end. So again, I will try to find a chart with a good amount of movement, because if there is a chart with a good movement, I will be able to mark support and resistance levels properly. I had already marked resistance according to the yellow line, and so far the market hasn't broken through it. So I placed trades in the downward direction because there is a very strong resistance level right here. I had marked it this way, and I saw that if the market made even a slight movement, it might follow this resistance level. But now it might actually do so. I had marked this a long time ago, so the market movement from here should remain bearish, because the main thing here is the resistance level. The second thing is, as you can clearly see, the Bollinger Bands here have kind of tightened up a bit on the forward side, and the upper band is also moving in the downward direction, so there is more selling pressure here. That's why the movement is happening this way. Another thing is, if you look at the RSI indicator, its upper level is testing the middle line and trying to move downward, because the middle line is the rejection line. So the movement is now bearish, meaning the price movement is trying to turn bearish. So finally, my trade here was profitable. A red candle has also formed here. So in the same way, I will again try to find a chart with good movement. Otherwise, support and resistance can work very well here. I feel like I might not even need to use indicators, but still, I am using them for extra confirmation. As for the rest, my strategy is always based on pure price action. So here I am looking at a chart with good movement. This is not an OTC market, it's the real market. So the market movement here is happening in this way. So I can place a trade here for one downward movement. But here I will have to wait, as the market has already come down quite a lot. If I had placed the trade at the beginning, it could have been much better. As soon as the market opened, but if I find any better opportunities ahead, I will place support and resistance levels here. And the important thing is to see where the market is currently moving. There is resistance nearby, and there is also a support level close by. It's very important to observe this. If the resistance is too high above and the support level is too far below and the market is moving in between, then there's no point in placing such support and resistance levels. That's why I have set the resistance level here. From here, the market movement is trying to be bearish, so I can place a trade downward. So I will let this candle close first, and only after that will I move for a downward trade. So guys, finally I have placed a downward trade here. So for this $100 trade that I placed, I actually didn't look at the Bollinger Bands. I placed the trade solely based on the resistance level here, but according to the resistance, the market is indeed moving downwards. Along with that, the upper level of the Bollinger Band, most of the time, what happens is that the market tests the upper level of the Bollinger Band and then moves in the downward direction, trying to reach the lower level. If a breakout happens, then that's a different scenario, but the first tendency is usually for the market to move down from the upper level. So that's how the market is likely to move here. The second thing is, let me check the RSI indicator. The market is currently moving right in the middle of the upper level. There hasn't been any test by the market yet, neither from the lower level nor from the upper level. So I don't think the RSI is playing any role here. But in many other situations, I feel that I can take indications by looking at the RSI indicator. So I definitely do that there. See, I had a loss on my trade here, so I placed a double trade here. This kind of thing happens. Losses are not a big deal. It's very easy to incur a loss. It's also possible that it was an error candle there, and sometimes the market forms certain candles like this for its own stability, which are completely against the support and resistance. That's why I feel that on the 1 minute time frame, it's not entirely possible to predict exactly what a particular candle is going to be. But here I predict the overall chart to determine whether the overall market movement will be downward or upward. I feel that at the resistance level, the market tends to be bearish. Now, it's possible that there might be one green candle there, but that could just be a retracement candle. So here, we don't assess the overall market based on just one retracement candle. The overall market will still remain bearish. However, that green candle could indicate market stability or simply be a retracement candle. So guys, finally, both of my trades here have been profitable. Since there is resistance here, the market movement should remain bearish. This is the approach I try to follow when trading. My first priority is always to mark support and resistance levels, and only after that do I use any indicators, etc. So again, as always, I will try to find a chart with a good movement because I feel that finding the right chart is very important. And let me tell you something important. If you haven't joined the Telegram group yet, there's a link in the description. Make sure to join from there. So here I am changing the chart and checking. If I can identify a market chart with good movement, that would be absolutely ideal for my strategy. So here I found this kind of chart. So first I will try to draw support and resistance lines using the holy gender line, because if I can set the support and resistance accurately and effectively, then I will be able to take a short position there. So here, I have successfully executed a new trade in the downward direction. The previous level of $100 here is not a support but a resistance level. The market has repeatedly turned bearish from here, so that's why I confirmed that the market movement here could be downward. That's why I placed the trade in the downward direction, and when the market is near the upper level of the Bollinger Band, there are very high chances that the market movement will remain bearish. So the same thing happened here. The market was exactly at the upper level of the Bollinger Band, and that's exactly where I placed the trade for a downward move. Now, how long will the market keep going down? Until it finds a good support level. And if I take a closer look at the RSI here, it tested the upper level quite a while ago, but right now it's still moving in the middle. So its middle line is currently trying to move in a downward direction. This is what it looks like, which is why there is quite a bit of selling pressure here. A very strong bearish candle has formed here. Okay, so it could also move further down. A long wick has formed, so a support level might start here. Otherwise, I won't keep placing trades continuously on the same chart. That's why I will look for a good short movement here. Again, only after that will I continue my trading here. So I feel that if you are a beginner, you should first learn about support and resistance and some candlestick patterns. It's crucial to understand this concept because I personally feel that indicators are not as helpful as price action, support and resistance, and broader technical analysis patterns. Otherwise, for the purpose of confirmation and to build a solid strategy, we can certainly incorporate indicators. So here, I need to identify and locate a chart with significant price movement. Only then can I carefully consider exactly where to place a trade. At this current moment, I am still trying to find a chart with a good movement. Here, this is USD. It's a real market, not an OTC market. So I have placed a trade here for a 1 hour direction. The very first thing I noticed here is that the RSI indicator is moving near the lower level. So there is movement in the market here. Also, where I practiced, the wick formed on the lower side of the previous candle is quite long, which also indicates that there are chances the next candle could be green. And the third thing is that when the market is at the lower band of the Bollinger Bands, it tends to be bullish. Generally, the market is bearish from the band, but from the lower band, the market tends to be bullish. All right, then. So, keeping these three things in mind, I have decided to place a trade right here for a green candle, which means I'm going in the upward direction. The overall market movement is looking quite bullish at the moment, and the momentum here is clearly upward. So for now, I'll have to wait just a little bit longer until this current candle finally closes. Okay, finally guys, this trade of mine has also been profitable. Okay, so the combination of Bollinger Bands and RSI tends to work exceptionally well in these market conditions. And along with that, we might also need to consider support and resistance. Actually, not just a little, but a lot, because support and resistance are the fundamental pillars of any successful trading strategy. So for now, I am again trying to change the chart to find a specific pair with significant and predictable price movement. Let me check how the market movement is currently looking in CAD, and let me tell you clearly, I am not a professional financial advisor, and this is for educational purposes only. Before placing any trade, please make sure to do your own thorough research. Okay, so I really need to find a chart with good movement, and let me check CHF. Here the market is a bit in a trend, and if I can spot a solid level here, then I can place a trade. So for now, I can place a trade in the downward direction, which is exactly what I am seeing right now. The psychology of these candles is showing a significant amount of selling pressure right here, which is why I have placed a double trade in the downward direction. The second thing to note is that there is a specific pattern forming here, red, green, and since the last candle is red, there is clearly more movement coming from the sellers. Just like we explained in the engulfing pattern. If you want a video on the engulfing pattern, you can leave a comment in the comment section below, or And here, if I look at the RSI indicator, the projection level, the middle line is testing the upper level and trying to move downward. What does this mean? It means there is heavy selling pressure here. There are a lot of sellers active, new. So, the market will make every possible effort to reach the lower band, the lower level of the RSI, and only after that can the market turn bullish here. This is exactly how it works. Whether it's support and resistance or any other technical indicator you might use, it always shows the underlying buying and selling pressure in the market. You just need to deeply understand the logic, where there are more buyers and where there are more sellers at any given time. So, guys, both of my trades here were very profitable, and today's trading session went really well overall, where I used a combination of support and resistance, Bollinger Bands, and the RSI indicator. The combination of these three worked quite well for me today. Actually, it's not just these three. I also looked closely at some specific candlestick patterns. There might have been some complex chart patterns that you didn't notice, especially if you're a beginner, but I could see them quite clearly here, so I analyzed the situation accordingly. Okay, sometimes the market also moves against support and resistance because there are some error candles, retracement candles, and opposite candles that form for the sake of market stability. These small nuanced things might not be known to everyone yet, but if you are a subscriber on this channel, you will keep learning such little things, which can be very helpful in your long-term trading journey. If you are visiting the channel for the first time, make sure to subscribe because the upcoming videos are going to be very informative for you and could be extremely helpful. In my trading journey, the mistakes I made, I will try to share them with you so that you don't repeat those same mistakes. So guys, see you soon. See you in the next video. Until then, thank you.